All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, and happy Tuesday. It's day number 2. Um, so just again, some housekeeping before we get into today. Well, first, I just want to congratulate all those that did the first accountability assignment. Obviously, I know there's a lot of heavy lifting that goes along with um, updating your LinkedIn profiles, and I know it's a start, but again, that's why I wanted to give you guys a place to start, just focusing on those first 3 areas. So let's set the tone for today. And if you guys would like, drop into the chat and please share one thing that you are grateful for today. I myself am grateful for finally testing negative for COVID. So Nancy and I are completely in the clear, and just in time because Taylor's elementary graduation is tomorrow, and we did not want to miss that. So yeah, hop into the chat. What is one thing that you are grateful for today? Health, being on this great training. Awesome. Grateful to have you here. Yesterday's workshop. Awesome. Because again, I do like setting the tone, for what we're going to be doing today. And, today is all about exploding your networks on LinkedIn. Now, just a couple pieces of housekeeping again. A couple people did ask yesterday if other people could still sign up for the workshop. They had, people had emailed and reached out and said, hey, I have some friends that I think would like to join. Is it too late? It is not too late. So I'm just going to drop into the chat really quickly. That is the direct link to share that link with whoever you feel would be, open to joining. Obviously, the replays are available until next Monday, so people do have plenty of time to go back through. Thank you, Jane. You're the best. And the other thing that I wanted to say is, I've gotten more positive. I mean, I always get positive feedback back. Don't get me wrong. But after yesterday's training, I actually had a bunch of people reach out to me, telling me how inspired and motivating yesterday's session was because they didn't realize all of the different nuances of a LinkedIn profile and all the things that you can actually do with it. But the secondary question was people were almost asking, is there like next steps with me, or like almost like a fast track to getting more, I would say, personalized and deeper help. And I did want to let, those people know that did email me or were thinking about this, like, okay, Scott, this is great. I'm going to learn so much from this workshop. But, some people are just ready to rock and roll and they just want to work more closely with me, with my patented system. I do, and Jane says that's me. I need so much help and don't have the time. So I just wanted to let everybody know, I'm going to drop my calendar link in the chat right now. If anybody does want to grab a time right away and kind of talk about what those next steps or the different paths, and there's 2 different paths that people can typically go down with me. I'll be talking about them in greater detail later this week, but I didn't want to leave those that reached out to me hanging, because I know some people wanted to talk right away. They wanted to learn more about some of the things that I had in place or additional means and additional ways of how they can work with me. So I did open up my calendar for the rest of the week. If anybody does want to grab a time and just talk through what those next steps would look like, sooner rather than later. Again, my link is right there. Grab a time. Happy to talk to you and tell you about those 2 different paths, which I will, again, be going into greater detail later this week as well. The other thing is, a lot of you did end up filling out the assessment, which is just wonderful because that just helps me learn more about all of you. in the emails that I included. So there, you can still take the assessment. It's in the Facebook group. So I do encourage you, if you have not yet taken the assessment, it will so greatly help you really identify some of those things. So again, there's the link to grab a spot on my calendar if you would like to talk about next steps, sooner rather than later. But also, if you have not taken the LinkedIn scorecard assessment yet, I would highly suggest you doing that as well. Additionally, as like I went over yesterday, there's still going to be replay emails being sent out first thing in the morning. Also, they're going to be sent out with the 1 hour reminder, the 15-minute reminder, and the We Are Live. So you're still going to be getting those 4 emails every single day. The workbook is also included in those emails, but it's also been brought into the Facebook group. So if you're not yet in the Facebook group, Christy's going to drop the link in the chat. And again, if anybody is having issues, someone said they're having issues with the input choices. I know someone had to do it from their desktop, and they had to actually open up an incognito window because they may have to clear their cache or their cookies. So there shouldn't be any issues with that. There's been, I think, almost 200 people that have taken the assessment. So that's amazing. So again, the workbook is there. Join the Facebook group. Like yesterday, there's going to be a homework thread pinned to the top of the Facebook group. It's going to say Scott's Day 2 homework thread. So there will be an accountability assignment today as well to kind of keep that needle moving forward. Just because, as I mentioned to you guys, we worked on the beginnings of optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Number 2, we're going to be going over planting those seeds for potential sales on LinkedIn today, meaning building that ideal client or power partner network. That's what we're going to be going over today. So you guys are going to start generating new connections today. And then tomorrow, we're going to be going over, okay, now that you have some new connections, what is the message that I actually need to send to that person? So how do I take those people from connections into potential clients? So we're going to bridge that gap together tomorrow. And then also on Thursday, we're going to start diving into how to market and brand yourself as an expert on LinkedIn. One of the biggest areas of struggle is the content to put out on LinkedIn. It's about your attractor factor, right? So you want to really position yourself as the experts. And I'm going to give you a very clear-cut, simple strategy about what content you should and should not put out on LinkedIn on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to be doing, I'm going to call it the half and half session. So we're going to do half training, half Q&A. So we're going to go over my 20-minute methodology. And Christy made this suggestion. We actually already created the Q&A form. So Nancy, Christy's going to drop, I'm so used to seeing Nancy on here. Christy's going to drop the Q&A form. So you guys can click on that. It'll open up in a separate window. You don't have to do anything now, but you can pre-submit your questions for Friday ahead of time. So you guys don't have to wait for Thursday. Again, you can have that right there. So drop a Y or a yes in the chat if you didn't realize how much there was in the SEO side of your LinkedIn profile. Y or yes if you were surprised about how much is there. Yeah. And there's more. And the reason why I kind of just started with that top little section is because if I had you do everything, it would be completely overwhelmed. And anyone that wants the recording, I send out a replay email every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, but it's also in the Facebook group. So if anybody wants to watch the replay, it's already in there. So the fact is that there's a lot of nuances to everything that needs to be done on LinkedIn. And what I'll share with you, there's more. And again, that's why I like doing these workshops as an introduction to the possibilities of LinkedIn. But that's also why, I've never done that before. Basically, I had so many people reach out about what are next steps to do something with you. So I want you guys still all to know that there is a continuing journey with me even after this workshop is done, because, we're going to scratch the surface, and that's the best way to handle LinkedIn. And I think you guys can all agree with me, if too much is piled on, Well, number one, that creates overwhelm. And what happens when we're overwhelmed? We get into analysis paralysis. And what happens when we get into analysis paralysis? We take no action. So I'm a big believer in taking some action is better than taking no action at all. So we're going to kind of take these baby steps, as we kind of alluded to yesterday, about what needs to be done on LinkedIn. As I did yesterday, there's going to be some training slides, and then we're going to take a live look onto LinkedIn just to kind of give you a live lay of the land, just so you can kind of connect the dots from what I trained on compared to what you're seeing on LinkedIn itself. Just like yesterday, I'm going to encourage all of you to engage throughout today's training, because remember, those that do will retain 3 times more information for those that don't. And I want you guys retaining as much information as possible from everything that we're going to be going over today. Now, I do want to debunk something really quickly. There's a lot of people out there that will tell you that you can generate thousands of leads a week on LinkedIn. That's impossible. And why that's impossible is you're only allowed to send 100 connections a week on LinkedIn. That's it. So anyone that is seeing any of those marketing companies out there that are making all of these big, hairy, audacious promises, just remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And I know there's a lot of people out there that, unbeknownst to them, have maybe, gone through and, maybe done that, and it doesn't pan out. I'm a big believer. I take the marathon approach to business. Slow and steady wins the race, right? I like small incremental growth. And if you want to look at it from a financial example, it's almost like that 401k or IRA, right? It's that compounded interest over time that is going to create your wealth. It's not so much what you do today, it's what you do compounded every day that equates to all of that. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. Okay. So just like we did yesterday, we did the scale of 1 to 10, about our LinkedIn profiles. And I want to kind of do that again with you guys really quickly before we dive into the build of your network. So scale of 1 to 10, 10 being ideal network, 0 being not ideal. Where would you guys rate yourselves as to how you feel about the current network that you have on LinkedIn, as far as like it producing the right results? So I'm seeing some higher numbers. That's good. I'm seeing some zeros, some ones. So again, I want to help all of you gain significant clarity on LinkedIn. Now, I also want to make sure that you guys understand this. How many of you, why or yes, are frustrated? I'm not using LinkedIn as an example, social media as a whole. How many of you are frustrated with the amount of leads that you are not getting on social media? Why or yes? Okay. What I will tell you is this, and this is the honest to God truth. If your ideal target audience are business professionals or people that could benefit from your product, your service, and your offering, and they're on LinkedIn, I'm not here to tell you that the other social platforms are irrelevant. But what I will say is take comfort in knowing that you can start putting less energy into the other platforms, and you can start putting all of your energy into LinkedIn. So, Nancy and I have grown a 7-figure company using LinkedIn. We've helped others do the same thing. And I can promise each and every one of you, if you're looking to generate more high quality and qualified leads that convert into sales, that grow the revenue of your business, LinkedIn is where you're going to need to start spending a significant amount of your time. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be on Facebook and you shouldn't be on Instagram. It's good to be omnipresent. But if you fully latch on to the power of what LinkedIn can do to solve that problem, the number one problem that most business owners have is they're not talking to enough people. They're not getting in front of enough people. They're not sharing what they do with enough people. And that can all be solved with leveraging LinkedIn the right way. That's why, like, my calendar is never not full of appointments. There is not a week that goes by where I am not talking to new people. People always ask, how do you guys continue to grow and scale? It's because we've built the right kind of network. You have to leverage other people. We're all in the people business. And something that Nancy always says, my wife, sales is a contact sport. You got to contact people. You can't sit back and wait for the skies to open up and money to drop in your lap. That would be great. I think we would all, want that, but that's not the reality of business. The reality of business is that we got to put ourselves out there. We got to connect. We got to network. We got to build those relationships. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here today. So if everybody is ready to dive in, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. The other thing I will say, the first 2 homework winners will be announced at the end of today's training. And then obviously the new accountability assignment will be announced as well. So there'll be 2 prizes given away every single day at the end of every single session. All right, let me get my screen up just like I did before. And I just want to make sure that I hide the video panel. And present. All right, just drop a Y or a yes if you guys can see my screen clearly and if you can hear me. Beautiful. Awesome. Great. Beautiful. Okay, so obviously, just other things, make sure that you join the private Facebook group. Don't unsubscribe or mark the emails as spam because that will basically cut off any and all communication from me to you. Replays will be available to watch back until June 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be on the replay page that is emailed out every morning at 7 a.m., but also in the Facebook group in the guides section at the top of the Facebook group. Your accountability homework should be posted in the homework thread that will be pinned to the top. It will be denoted by day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, or you can email us directly at support@scottaaron.net if you do not have Facebook. But also make sure that it's done to qualify for one of the 2 prizes. It has to be done 30 minutes prior to the next day's training, which is 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Now, today we're going to be going over the simple steps to building your ideal client and power partner network. Now, when you're building your network on LinkedIn, I think this is the interesting thing, and what I love about LinkedIn compared to some of the other platforms. There's too much automation going on Instagram. I mean, I don't know if you guys resonate with this. How many of you get like spammy inboxes like nonstop on Instagram of people like, I can grow your account. I can do, like, it's just all bots. It's really not real people at this point. And with Facebook, you can't, it's more of a personal platform. It's not a business platform. So what I love about LinkedIn is that everything is SEO optimized, meaning it's all search engine based. So, your profile, who you're searching and connecting with, everything is based off of searchability. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. I just want you guys to know, like, that's why LinkedIn is such a beautiful place to be, is because everything is keyword searchable. If you're looking to connect with anyone and everyone, that's where you're going to want to be. You want to send connection requests to find your audience, not just to accumulate connections who don't share common interest. So what that means is type a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you ever heard the term the race to 30,000. If you guys have ever heard that term. Okay, so most of you have not. So in other words, this was called the spray and pray method, the spray and pray methodology. Basically, people try to get to that 30,000 connection limit as quickly as they could, like literally just hitting connect with anyone with a pulse. And yes, it was leading to people having large networks of connections, but everything fell to the wayside, meaning these people were accepting their connections, but they weren't responding to messages and they weren't engaging with content. So let me turn it to you guys. Why do you think that is? Why do you feel the spray and pray methodology did not produce the right results? So if people were just clicking connect, they weren't getting messages responded back to, and they weren't having people engage with their content. Why do you guys feel that is? Not qualified, not interest. Yep. No common ground. I mean, that's the simplest way to say it. There was no connection point. You have to connect with people based on the same keywords that you put into your profile. Those are the same kind of people you're going to be searching for. You need to be specific on the days that you search to find highly targeted connections and power partners. It's better to have a smaller, highly focused network to connect with than a large network with fewer things in common with you. Now, just to take an additional temperature of the group, type the word free if you're using the free version of LinkedIn, and type the word paid if you're using the paid version of LinkedIn. So free, 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 free. I'm seeing a couple paid, mostly free. Okay. So here's what I'll say to this. I do not discourage anyone from using the paid version of LinkedIn. I still don't use it. I still use the free version. Everything I teach is on the free version. So people then ask me, well, Scott, who is the free version best for and who is the paid version best for? The paid version, when we're talking about Premium, Navigator, and Recruiter, are really best for recruiters, people that are in sales recruiting positions for a company, but also maybe financial service professionals or insurance professionals that are looking for deeper KPIs, key performance indicators. So maybe they're in employee benefits. So they need to highly target companies that have a specific amount of yearly revenue and a specific amount of employees. If you don't fall into those types of categories, you're more of like a solopreneur, coach, consultant, like something of that, the free version is all that you're going to need. Now, someone once asked me, if you had to say or put your thumb on the one benefit of the paid version versus the free version, what would you say is the biggest differentiating factor? The number one, I would say, benefit to the paid version as opposed to the free is you're allowed unlimited searches. So with the free version, you can only use the search engine 12 to 15 times a month. With the paid version, it's unlimited. But the patented system that I created is based on leveraging the free version. So how not to over abuse the search engine and how to leverage it so you don't have to use up all your searches. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And that is Premium. So Premium, Navigator, that's all the same. But here's the thing, and I will finish with this. If you have not yet squeezed the juice out of the free version, do not upgrade to the paid. If you have, and that's the thing, people think paid is better. It's only better if you need it. And if you will not know if you need it until you optimize the free version of LinkedIn first. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Good. Awesome. Now, when you are searching, you're going to filter by what is called second connections, and I'm going to go into some greater detail after. These are people that you're not connected to them, They're your first connections. It's a great way to build your own network through the existing networks that you have. That's why it's important to always build your network. You always want to be connecting. ABC, always be connecting. That's how you're going to get the search engine in your favor. It's in your favor if you're building it. Now, some of the common questions that you want to ask yourselves before you start searching and connecting and leveraging LinkedIn. And you want to kind of just let all of these sink in. You know, from a business standpoint, who would I have the most genuine conversation with? Not from a personal standpoint, from a professional standpoint, that business professional. Who would I have the most genuine conversation with from a job title, industry, profession standpoint? Second question, who would I have the most authentic connection with? Whether we talk or not, whether we ever get on a call, just the pure simple fact of us being connected on LinkedIn is going to be enough, meaning there's value just in that. Third question, who would find the most value in my content and my connection? And finally, who would best support my business as a referral source? Now, I will say this. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but one of my clients that I'm doing deeper work with on LinkedIn, he emailed me the other day and he said, I just want to share with you. He goes, the deeper work that we've been doing together, because some people want more custom stuff to them in their business. That's why I kind of planted that seed a little bit earlier, you guys, with the whole fast track, wanting to talk earlier rather than later. His business is more of a referral-based business. Yes, there's a client acquisition side to it, but he needed to leverage the power partner side of things. He said for the last 3 weeks in a row, he's gotten at least one referral a day for his business for the last 3 weeks. He said everything has changed from a monetary standpoint in his business in 3 weeks. So I'll kind of leave that with you guys. How would it feel in 3 weeks' time to see monetary changes in your business? So share in the chat a feeling. How would it feel just in 21 days? 21 days. How would it feel to see a change monetarily in your business? That's exactly what I do with people. I want to shift the perspective of you don't have to wait for success to show up. You can go create it yourself. And again, that may sound crazy to people. Yeah, 3 weeks, literally 3 weeks, everything shifted. Even for me, there is not a week that goes by where I haven't gotten a referral from LinkedIn. And it's been probably about 2 years now. So imagine getting a referral at least once a week for the next 2 years. That's what I really want to convey to all of you. There is so much that's possible on this platform if you dig as deep as you can with it. Now, a few extra tips that I want to leave you with as far as this, the connection. You can go as granular as you want with the search engine, in the sense of this. If you are a local business, how many of you are more of a local business, meaning you're prospecting locally? Avatar is kind of like your ideal client. That's another name for your ideal client, Avatar. So how many of you are, okay. So for local businesses, and I'll share this story with you quickly. So a client of mine, Jeremiah, he is in the construction masonry business. He's from the greater Detroit area. So he came to a workshop just like this a couple of years ago. I talked about how I do deeper work with people. He set up a call. We started working together. And the core principle was he said, I know that you teach people to build globally and nationally. He goes, but can you show me how to do it locally? I said, absolutely. You know, how it works nationally and globally, I can show you locally. So I showed him how to use some of these additional filters: location, company, multiple job titles, just like you would on any search engine. And so he was looking to connect with real estate developers that were bidding on jobs for new and rebuilding construction. So we started working together and I showed him how to leverage the filters. And just to kind of give you an update, it's been about 2 years since we've done some work together. And he always gives me little updates. But in the first 18 months of applying some of the deeper work and the more specific things to him and his business, he brought in an extra $3.6 million in revenue. And that was just by getting a little bit more granular with what he was doing. So just imagine not only how much can change in 3 weeks, but compounded. Going back to what I said before, that whole marathon approach, he was getting those results and he just let it compound, compound, and compound. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, the other thing is, if you have an international, global, or national business, you can still filter by country, you know, by city, by state. So you can plant seeds wherever your heart desires. Now, you need to commit to doing something every day to build your network. Commit to doing something every day. So if you can commit to doing something every day, Monday through Friday, just type the word I, or type the words I commit in the chat. And this is what I mean. We're always looking to create momentum, right? We're always looking to create additional ways to get to that next level of our business. And it doesn't have to be difficult. So commit to doing something Monday through Friday. And people say, well, Scott, what about Saturday and Sunday? I believe in work-life integration. My system is built around teaching people to have fun and flexibility when they're building their business. The bulk of what they're going to be doing is Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday is for resting, recovering, relaxing, friends, family, whatever it is that you want to do. So just know that what you're going to be doing is Monday through Friday. I believe in that harmonious balance. So on Mondays and Fridays, and so if you have the free version of LinkedIn, if you have the paid version, you can search every single day. But if you're using the free version of LinkedIn, you're going to do something what I call the bookend methodology. So if you're familiar with bookends, you have one bookend here, one bookend here, if you have the books in between. You're going to search once on Monday and once on Friday. So you can search for ideal client Monday, power partner Friday, power partner on Friday, ideal client on Monday. So if everybody is understanding that so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. You're just searching once on Monday, once on Friday. That's it. Now, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're going to use the My Network area, which I'm going to show you guys when we do a live look, to send your additional connections. So the My Network section, if it doesn't look the way that you want it to look right now, that's okay, because it's based on a few different things. It's based on the SEO optimization of your LinkedIn profile. So if it's not fully optimized, then again, it's going to take some tweaking. And again, that's stuff that I do with people. I help people build out their profiles. And I had the fortunate luck to partner with a tech company that helped me build out a tool where I can basically get under the kimono of everyone's profile, and I can tell them exactly what they need to do to SEO optimize to have a top profile. Now, someone asked about app or desktop. I'm at my desk mostly, so I do a lot of this through the desktop. I like a bigger screen, just that's what I prefer. But this can be done either the desktop or the mobile app, whatever is convenient for that person. So you can use this methodology, desktop or app. It's whatever your preference is. Now, that my network will start to change as the SEO optimization of your profile changes, the information on your profile changes, but also the accepted connections on the Mondays and Fridays changes. So let me just give you an example. If I was helping, if I was helping someone, like if one of my core offers was helping fitness professionals grow an online business, right? And say Orange Theory Fitness or F45, which are fitness chains, were my ideal target demographic. So if you're following me so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So, okay. So I start searching for Orange Theory Fitness or F45 on Mondays and Fridays, and I start connecting with people from those companies that are involved. I start getting people accepted in my connections. That my network area starts to change as well, because LinkedIn suggests connections based on recent accepted connections and also companies and relatability. So what do you think is going to start to happen in that suggested connection area on the My Network area for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? You're going to start to see other people that may be involved with F45 or Orange Theory. Well, why? Well, chances are the people that have recently accepted your connection that are with those companies are also connected to other people in those companies. So LinkedIn automatically thinks, well, you've already been connecting and gotten connections accepted by these people. Well, I'm sure other people in their networks, because LinkedIn always wants you to connect with the second connections, they start handing you those connections on a silver platter. So if that's clear and that makes sense, just type the word clear in the chat. So again, you're going to do something every single day, Mondays and Fridays. You're going to do specific searches, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're going to send out the connections via My Network. Okay. Now, going back to something that I said before, you want to do specific searches with shared interests and business commonalities on Mondays and Fridays. Do not exceed 12 to 15 searches per month. That's why, 2 searches, one on Monday, one on Friday. That's good. Now, here's the thing. LinkedIn will always dangle carrots, meaning they will say to you, hey, Julie, you're getting pretty close to your commercial limit on searches. Upgrade to premium for free 30 days, and you can search all you want all day, every day. That's how they get you. Because then you start doing it, and then they start charging the $69 or $79 a month. And before you know it, now you're having to pay to play when you don't have to. Now, here's what I'll tell you. If you do end up accidentally using up all your searches, they do come back. On the 1st of every month at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I know that's specific, but that's what happens. All the free accounts on LinkedIn are refreshed with new searches for the month. So if it's like the 26th of the month and you used up all your searches, you got to wait 5 days, you can start searching again. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are with me. Now, again, Christy is going to drop in the chat the Q&A form. So if anybody does have questions as we move through, we're going to do this every day. If you have questions about anything that we've covered yesterday, today, moving forward, just click that link and have that form opened on your computer, fill it out later. Again, I cannot answer the questions in the chat. It's best to have that for the Q&A. And again, I'm going to be doing a live like live look today as well. So don't worry, I got you covered. Okay. Now have a marker, not a physical, you're not going to write on your computer. But what you want to do is you want to keep track. So I use either Google Sheets or Excel. Some people use the notes on their computer. And you always want to have a marker so you can keep track of your most recent connections. This will actually help you not skip any new connections or accidentally send an opening message to the same person more than once. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. So when you always want to be doing a daily check-in and look at the people that have recently accepted your connection requests. And again, the people that you've already messaged. And again, messaging is going to be for tomorrow, but we're going to focus just on the new people that you're connecting with. So, and I'll show you when you go into LinkedIn, it's actually going to show you how most recently you accepted someone's connection or they accepted yours. Now, a couple things that I want you guys to remember and some extra tips is, well, number one, make sure that you don't connect with just anyone. Be specific so you don't get your connection ignored. How many of you have received connection requests from people? It's the first of the month, the searches are refreshed. How many of you, drop a Y or a yes in the chat, if you've ever got a connection request that has a note attached to it where the person is just selling and pitching you on services that you do not need? Yeah. Anyone else think that's gross besides me? I mean, I think that's gross. Yeah, I hate those too, Joy. I hate those. They're gross. Gross, gross, gross. It's not what you want to do. That's another version of spraying and praying, right? It's called the pitch slap. Yeah, I like that, Chris. I've heard that before. Now, here's the thing. People then ask me, well, when do I add a note? Like, am I just connecting? Am I adding a note? So here's the thing. If you don't know the person, because again, remember, you guys should be connecting with people that you don't know. So if that's clear, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Connect with people that you don't know. You need to expand your warm market, right? If you don't know the person, just hit connect. If you don't know the person, just hit connect. So if that's clear, that makes sense. Just drop a number 1 in the chat. Type a number 1 in the chat. If you don't know the person, just click connect. That should be like a quote of mine. If you don't know the person, I should, you know what? I should get a t-shirt made. If you don't know the person, just click connect. Now, so it brings up a secondary question. Well, when should I add a note? 3 instances. And you may want to write these down. Number 1, you do know the person. It's a friend, it's a colleague, someone that you're connected to on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe it's a client. Like, you know the person. Like, hey, oh my God, we're not connected on LinkedIn. That's so strange. Let's connect. Number 2, you were referred to them. So I get a lot of referrals this way. It'll say, you know, hey, Scott, you're working with my friend X, Y, and Z, who's also your client, and they said that you've helped them greatly, you know, personalize what they're doing on LinkedIn. Would love to hear how you can help me as well. Would love to connect. Perfect. And number 3, maybe you saw them from somewhere, right? Maybe you saw them. So you read a book of theirs. You attended their LinkedIn workshop, right? Hey, I'm attending your LinkedIn workshop. Would love to connect. I listened to your podcast, you know, would love to connect. Those are the only 3 instances where you add a personal note. And LinkedIn has gone a step further. I don't know if you guys have seen this. But with the free version of LinkedIn, you're only allowed 15 to 20 personal notes a month now because too many people are getting spammed. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Good. Perfect. Now, your goal, you have to stay under 100 connection requests sent per week. So drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you did or did not know about the connection limit on LinkedIn per week. Y or yes, N or no. Okay. So if you did not know, even if you did know, you can only send 100 connection requests per week. You're able to send more, but as soon as you go over 100, LinkedIn will ding your account. And what happens is they will restrict you for 24 hours from sending connection requests the first time that you do it. You do it a second time, they restrict you for a week. You do it a third time, they restrict you for a whole month of sending connection requests. And if you do it a fourth time, you get a lifetime restriction of never, ever being able to send connection requests ever again. Ever. There's no way to unlock it. So make sure that you guys stay under 100 connection requests a week. If that's clear, type the word clear in the chat. I don't want any of you, and that's for paid. That's for everyone. That's across the board, all of LinkedIn. So your goal Monday through Friday is to send 14 to 18 connections a day, Monday through Friday. So how many connection requests are you sending a day, Monday through Friday? Type it in the chat. I just want to make sure I want to create some brain tattoos. 14 to 18. Yep. So again, starting today, you're going to start sending those connection requests, 14 to 18 a day. 14 to 18 a day. Now, the other thing is that you're going to want to clear out, so just to kind of give you the numbers, the raw numbers. So the numbers are this. For every, and you may want to write this down. Yeah, Bonnie, don't do that. So here are the numbers. The rate of acceptances per 100 connections sent is between 25 to 35%. So just expect for every 100 connection requests that you send, that should create 25 to 35 new connections, which is good because that's about, 100 to 140 new leads, potential leads per month. So if everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Okay. Now, out of those, we're going to get into the messaging stuff tomorrow. But my goal, and this is what I teach people, is booking between 3 to 5 sales calls a week, every month. Because again, in reality, if you're booking 5 calls a week, 20 calls a month, and you're only closing 20%, that's 4 new sales per month. That's where this whole 21-day results comes in. And that's what I personally do with people. I create custom strategies and custom plans for people where they're bridging that gap between their ideal client and themselves, where they're closing sales very quickly. But what I want you guys to focus on is the farmer mentality. Planting seeds to reap the harvest. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, the other thing is, so I do want to let you guys know that the 65 to 75% of people that do not accept, they get stored in a separate area of LinkedIn called the sent request that you do have to remove at the end of every month. So any connection request, and I'll show you, that's 3 weeks and older, at the end of the month, you just put a reminder in your calendar, like clear out, old requests. You're going to want to clear those out at the end of the month, which I'm going to give you a live look of that as well. So let me stop this really quickly. I'm going to exit the full screen and I'm going to head over to LinkedIn. So here we go. Now, just to kind of show you what the Monday search would look like. So here's the search engine right here. So I'm just going to kind of give you an example really quickly. So for me, I like connecting with business coaches, speakers, podcasters, coaches, consultants, finance professionals, and sure, I have a lot of people that I help, realtors, all that. But let me give you like a core example. So I'm going to search business coach, comma, speaker. Let me just go back. Okay, so I'm going to type in my search first, and I'm going to hit see all results. Now, this is going to give you kind of like the general search result page. And I'm going to do a couple things. First, I'm going to select people. It's the far left option. I don't want jobs, posts, groups, companies, and so on and so on. I just want people. So if you guys are with me so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure. And I'm going to select people. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter by second connection. So first connection are my existing connections. I don't need to filter by them. I'm already connected. Third and plus, you need to send them an in-mail message. And that doesn't even, and that's the thing, people get the paid version because they get like, I think 20 or 25 in-mail credits. That doesn't even go, like LinkedIn has refiltered the inbox feature. So it doesn't even go to the person's inbox because they're not connected. It goes to their in-mail box. And that's where all the spam goes. That's why it's really important for you to connect with your second connections, which are your first connections. So I'm going to filter by that. So if you guys are with me so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, what I want you to do is don't worry about any search result that has follow. Don't worry about that. Focus on the ones that say connect. So I'm going to, and you can see right here, business consultant, coach, trainer, speaker. Perfect connection for me. I'm going to hit connect and I'm going to connect, send without a note. Done. Connect, send, connect, send, connect, send. And that's what I'm doing on Mondays and Fridays. So if you guys are clear on that, just type the word clear in the chat. So that's what I'm doing on Mondays and Fridays. Okay. Now, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm going to be using the My Network area, which is the middle part right here. And you're going to see catch up and grow. And I'm going to go to grow because I want to grow my network, right? And what I'm going to do is it's going to show me some people that I may want to connect with, right? People in the greater Philadelphia area. So I went over the percentage. Thank you, Inga. Yep, 25 to 35% accept. Thank you, Inga. Appreciate that. So you could see people in the greater Philadelphia area, people I may know that went to the same business school as me. If I scroll down further, people you may know based on my recent activity, people that have similar roles as me, people in the business coaching and consulting. So they're literally spoon feeding me people. And all I would do is, oh, certified health coach. Great. Let's see, logistics, analytics development, right? I can go back up. I do work with sales individuals, so Abby's a good connection. I can also go into sales management. So they're literally, and I just literally go down until I hit how many connections a day, Monday through Friday? Type it in the chat. Yes, 14 to 18. 14 to 18. Good. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're going to go into this section and you're going to send your 14 to 18 connections. Monday and Friday, searching. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this section. If you guys are clear on what I showed you, just type the word clear in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are with me so far. Awesome. Now, if you need to remove any of those old connections, you're still going to find this. You're still going to find this in the My Network area. It's just under catch up instead of grow. I'm sorry. It's going to be under grow. Sorry. And you're going to see something on the right-hand side. Do you guys see? Just drop a Y or yes if you can see where it says see all 328. Okay. Now, this just shows you how many people have sent me connection requests. Okay. If you don't have any, it'll just say the word manage. So if you don't have any incoming requests from you, it'll say manage. If you have a couple, it'll say, CL2, CL6. And basically what I'll do is I'll click right there, and this takes me into the managing of my network. So now I can click on where you see where it says received and sent. Just type a Y or a yes if you can see that, where it says received and sent. Good. So I want sent. So I'm going to click on sent, and this is going to show me all of the sent requests that I just sent out. So you can see my most recent ones, right? Now, if I scroll down, once I get to that 3-week mark, which is right here, Jason Jenkins, you want to withdraw at the end of every month. So this is what it does. So I'm going to click withdraw, and it says, if you withdraw now, you won't be able to resend to this person for up to 3 weeks, which is completely fine. You know why? They haven't accepted it, or they're not active. But what that does is it removes them from their side and my side. So it disappears for both of us. So even if Jason does reappear in a search or the My Network area after 3 weeks and I send it to him again, guess what? He's not going to know the difference, and he may accept it at that point. So if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And I'm just going to click withdraw, and then it's gone. So again, I just wanted to kind of touch with you guys on obviously how all this works. So your accountability assignment is to send your first batch of 14 to 18 connections today. Now, if you didn't search yesterday, which you probably didn't, you can do a search today, or you can use the My Network area, whatever way you want to do it. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So you're sending your first 14 to 18 targeted connections, whether it's an ideal client or a power partner. And then there's going to be a thread pinned to the top of the Facebook group. It's going to say Scott's Day 2 homework thread. And all you have to do is just comment under that thread, I sent my first batch of connections, or I sent my 14 to 18 connections once you've done it. And that's it. So if you guys think that you can do that, we don't have to go into the whole follow versus connected. Just focus on the people that you can connect with. So if you guys are clear on the homework, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Okay. I've also got some side messages, again, asking about what the whole fast track with me looks like. So again, Christy's going to drop my calendar link in the chat right there. If anybody wants to learn about the paths that you can go down with me to get some of those results that I shared with you guys earlier today, grab a time on my calendar. Again, I'll be going into greater detail later this week on the 2 paths of people that, really want to up level their business, their money, and all of those things later this week. And again, don't forget, Christy just dropped in there the Q&A form, so you guys can start pre-submitting your questions for Friday's half and half session. So don't forget to ask your questions in there. I'll be going through them rapid fire with all of you. And just remember, there will be 2 prizes given out today and every day. And please don't forget, if you have not yet taken the assessment, Christy's going to drop that in the chat one more time. Make sure you fill out the assessment. This will really kind of give you a very clear path of those things that you do need to focus on when it does come to LinkedIn. So if you guys are feeling clear and understanding where we are so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are with me. Beautiful. So remember, tomorrow, now that you're starting to generate some new connections, we're going to go over, what do I say to these people in a message so I can start booking some sales and start closing some sales in my business? So you're not going to want to miss tomorrow, because we're going to add another layer onto what we've been doing this week. So first 2 winners, Jackie Newman and Marla Bollock. So congratulations, you are the 2 winners. I'll be announcing 2 more. And we'll go from there. So remember, do pre-submit your questions. Hop on my calendar if you want to fast track a little bit more of what we're going to be doing together. But just remember, tomorrow we're going over messaging. We're going to be going over the content that you need to create on Thursday. And then we're going to be putting a bow on this on Friday with my 20-minute routine and some Q&A. So guys, thank you again so much for joining today. Don't forget, you can share the registration link with anyone that you know that still wants to join. We still have plenty of days left, but also the replays will be available until Monday. Love and gratitude.